Hey everybody, Kaoiji here. So if you want to play Fast Gunner, then this is going to be the video for you. We're going to go over all the different mods, armor sets, and things that you can put together to be able to create the ultimate Fast Gunner build. So without keeping you waiting, let's go over the builds, mods, and accessories that you're going to need to put all of this together. I'm going to be giving you guys a couple of different options just in case you might have been going down a different path, but you still want to play Fast Gunner. For this build, you're going to need the MG4 Predator, which has the weapon features of 40% chance to trigger Fast Gunner when hitting an enemy. Whenever Fast Gunner stacks reach a multiple of 5, gain infinite ammo for 0.5 seconds. Hitting the same target consecutively grants weapon damage plus 2% with each hit, up to 40%. The effects reset when the target is changed, and the remaining bullets is more than 50% of the magazine attack plus 40%. Ideally, this is one of the best Fast Gunner weapons that you can have. Now, for the first build that we're going to be looking into, let's say this is your introductory build, you're going to be looking into the mods Shootout, Gunslinger, Momentum Up, Crit Amplifier, Covered Advance, Crit Damage Enhancement or Rejuvenation, and Deadshot. As far as the armors and weapons are concerned, we're going to be using the Predator weapon, we're going to be using 2-piece Scout, and then we're going to be using 4-piece Falcon Agent. This build basically takes advantage of all of the bonuses that this set has to offer, allowing you to reach high crit rate, high crit damage, as well as increased weapon damage and weak point damage. Now, for the most part, this build excels in just flat raw damage. So while the modifiers weak per week might change, this build is going to be able to excel regardless of whatever modifiers might be present. Now, that first set was basically low investment. Let's say that you don't have any Starcrom yet, or you're just beginning in the seasons. That's pretty much what you'd be looking for. Now let's go over what you'd be looking to aim for as you have more Starcrom and a more well-invested build. For this set, we're going to be looking into Shootout, Blitzkrieg, Fateful Strike, Crit Amplifier, Covered Advance, Crit Damage Enhancement or Rejuvenation, and Deadshot. We're looking for this because we're not going to be worried about the weak point damage from this build. Our aim is going to be focusing on the crit rate, crit damage, and weapon damage. With more invested in Starcrom, we're going to be looking into the Predator LMG, the Oasis Mask, the Bastille Helmet, and then the 4-piece Lone Wolf set for everything else. Those are what I believe to be the best builds currently right now for Fast Gunner, and if you want to know any more information, then stick around because we're going to go over where to find all these mods and the process and mentality behind these builds. Now, as far as where to farm all of these mods, they're going to be available in the following. Shootout is going to be available from Anarchism Hard, Gunslinger is going to be available in EX1 Hard, Momentum Up and Faithful Strike are going to be available from Silo Alpha Hard, Crit Amplifier is going to be available from Silo Sigma Hard, Crit Damage Enhancement is going to be available from Silo Sigma Normal, Rejuvenation is going to be available from Silo Theta Hard, Blitzkrieg is going to be available from Prime War, Deadshot is going to be available from Silo Psi Hard, and Covered Advance is going to be available from Silo Phi Hard. Also keep in mind that all of these mods will be available from weapon and gear crates, in addition that they will be dropping from Leia Lab as well. Now, as far as what all these mods do, let's go over that as well. Shootout is when triggering Fast Gunner, weapon damage plus 1.5% for 10 seconds up to 20 stacks. For Gunslinger, it's when in Fast Gunner status, weak spot damage plus 30%. For Momentum Up, it's fire rate plus 10% for the first 50% of the magazine, and then weapon damage plus 30% for the next 50% of the magazine. Blitzkrieg gives you Fast Gunner stacks plus 5, an additional fire rate plus 1% for each stack of Fast Gunner. Deadshot is each critical hit made by non-melee weapons grants you plus 5% crit damage up to 45%, and the effect is removed upon reload. Covered Advance, taking no damage within 4 seconds, grants plus 20% melee weapon and status damage for 30 seconds. The effect resets when the duration ends. And then finally, Faithful Strike cannot deal weak spot damage but gives you plus 10% critical hit rate, crit damage plus 30%. Crit Amplifier gives you plus 10% crit rate, which is also crit damage plus 15%. Crit Damage Enhancement gives you plus 2% crit rate, 12% crit damage, and Rejuvenation when HP is above 60%. A kill recovers 15% lost HP. Now, depending on what kind of calibration you're using in your Predator LMG, the damage in this build might vary. But for the most part, when you wind up giving yourself more stacks of Fast Gunner, you wind up increasing your damage because the way that Fast Gunner works initially, it's that when in Fast Gunner status, for each stack, it gives you plus 1% fire rate, plus 1% attack, lasting for 2 seconds, and stacking up to 5 times. With Blitzkrieg and the Oasis Mask, that's an additional 10 stacks of Fast Gunner. Additionally, the Oasis Mask also gives you an additional plus 1% attack for each stack of Fast Gunner. The only drawback to this build would be its reload. But additionally, once you wind up getting some of the enhancements from some of the mods, you'll be able to make up some of that reload with no time. With all of the stacks of Fast Gunner, the Lone Wolf set, and all the additional damage that you'll be able to deal, a build like this with no food or even using any of your deviations will be able to keep up with most of the other builds in the game, if not deal even more damage. Most of the time whenever I'm in Prime War, I'm able to be in the top of the damage leaderboard, only being outdamaged by things like the Doombringer shotgun. But that's also because I'm trying to get silver break damage so that way we can actually clear the Prime War. If you have any additional questions and or tips to be able to do more damage, or maybe you feel that there are some different ways of going about this, leave a comment down below. Some people might value the Renegade set for the weak point damage, but personally, when it comes to testing, so far crit damage seems to be the thing that outweighs everything else, especially if you're able to crit. But if you don't feel comfortable using something like Faithful Strikes, then Momentum Up is still there. And in a full placed build, I would even assume that Momentum Up would probably outdamage Faithful Strike, assuming you have good enhancements on your mods. Now, like I said, if you guys have any other information and or questions when it comes to this build, leave a comment down below. Now, there are some mods that haven't been discovered for Fast Gunner at the time of recording this video, so this build will be subject to change, but as of right now, this is where I believe I can be most comfortable putting out a quote-unquote guide. Between 4-piece Lone Wolf and then the Bastille giving you plus 10% weapon damage when your HP is above 70%, the Oasis Mask, the Predator LMG, Shootout, Blitzkrieg, Faithful Strike, and a Momentum Up, Crit Amplifier, Covered Advance, Crit Damage Enhancement or Rejuvenation, and Deadshot, that's what I would be running, and that's what I feel is the best way to go about this build. Now, it doesn't have infinite ammo quite yet, but I do have an infinite ammo Fast Gunner build on the way, assuming that the game actually gives me the mods to be able to showcase it, but I do have one whenever the game does give that to me. I also have an infinite ammo Shrapnel build and Icy Rain build, so if you guys want to see that, leave a comment down below and those will be my next videos. Now, with that being said, thank you guys again for watching. Stay awesome, stay beautiful. Check out my live stream, and link's going to be in the description down below. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace. I'm out.